your brother and servant that has provided some form of nutrition and self-food over the last 40 years.
I feel like I'm too real. I ain't doing niggas no more favors. I feel like I'm too real. They be smiling, but you know they hate. Me and my niggas, we be laughing. We go so hard that ain't no understatement. I feel like I'm too real. Yeah, I ain't doing niggas no more favors. Yeah, ayy, straight from the jet, and I'm headed to the jet. Man, I'm headed to a check. Man, I just got a check. Man, you looking at a vet. Man, you looking at the best. Steph Curry on my shooter when they aim it so net. You say you been getting money, man, you lying, yeah, you lying. Promote that ass for 7-5, you ain't Brian, you ain't Brian. Man, my bitch came with a crew, and they all got. My niggas say just do what you do. Get in hoes, I ain't mad at you. I'm so fucking high, I'm in a whole nother latitude. She gon' bust it open, I'ma show you what the cash you do. Wheels offset, not the range, but the vet. Me and my team, what you mean? Man, I'm taking off. I feel like I'm too real. I ain't doing niggas no more favors. I feel like I'm too real. They be smiling, but you know they hate. Me and my niggas, we be laughing. We go so hard that ain't no understatement. I feel like I'm too real. Yeah, I ain't doing niggas no more favors. Yeah, bad bitch with me. She the one I'm gon' keep. Fly from her head to feet. Eyebrows on fleek. Yeah, skin like caramel. Niggas telling fairy tale. Don't worry about me. You know me, I'm doing very well. I been by myself making stats by my lonely. Now these niggas acting like we squad. You don't know me. I been flying on these niggas, jigging me some aviators. Man, I swear to God, I ain't doing these niggas I feel no like more I'm favors. Too real. I ain't doing niggas no more favors. I feel like I'm too real. They be smiling, but you know they hating. Me and my niggas, we be laughing. We go so hard that ain't no understatement. I feel like I'm too real. Yeah, I ain't doing niggas no more favors. Yeah, I feel like I'm too real. I ain't doing niggas no more favors. I feel like I'm too real. They be smiling, but you know they hating. Me and my niggas, we be laughing. We go so hard that ain't no understatement. I feel like I'm too real. Yeah, I ain't doing niggas no more favors. Yeah.
Dr. Sebi was born Alfredo Bowman in a village in Spanish Honduras. He never had any formal schooling. He was self-educated. After coming to the United States, he was diagnosed with asthma, diabetes, impotency, and obesity. After unsuccessful treatments with conventional doctors and traditional Western medicine, Sebi was led to an herbalist in Mexico.
So he told me that I could not eat meat any longer, no lamb. I could not drink any milk. And I abstained from all these things, and here I am now at 82. I'm happier than I've ever been in my life.
After being healed from his conditions, he began studying and cataloging herbs around the world. As a result, he created natural vegetation cell food compounds that he claimed would cure people from diseases like herpes and AIDS.
The first patient was a brother in Boston named Michael White. I said, well, I must send him the compound. I removed from the man's diet lactose, uric acid, and carbonic acid, milk, starches, and meat. By removing these things from his diet and then cleansing his cells, he began to see recovery in 24 hours. When I told my mama that I had cured my 13 AIDS patient, she said, "They're gonna get you."
In the 1980s, Dr. Sebi ran a variety of ads stating that his institute cured AIDS, sickle cell, lupus, blindness, herpes, cancer, and other incurable diseases. The ad caught the eye of the Food and Drug Administration, and they sued Dr. Sebi for false advertisement and practicing without a license.
You defended yourself.
Of course I did. I knew that I had sufficient evidence to prove my position.
During the trial, the judge requested Dr. Sebi provide one witness for each disease that he claimed he cured. Each witness had to bring documentation that showed they had a disease from one doctor and documentation that they no longer had the disease from a separate doctor. Dr. Sebi was able to provide over 70 witnesses. He was not taken to court to prove he cured AIDS, but many say he still did so within this trial because his witnesses presented verified medical documents proving they had been healed after they said they sought Sebi's help. After hours of questioning and testing Dr. Sebi's compounds, he was found not guilty because his products were essentially food and he was not diagnosing patients. Dr. Sebi took on the Attorney General and won.
Not only did I prove scientifically, but I had the diagnostic sheets, and I do have them today. And those diagnostic sheets didn't come from me. They came from their school, their American medical accredited school.
When you look at the court documents, it says Dr. Sebi, Alfredo Bowman, which is my father, my aunt Bowman, and Fig Tree Products. That's what was proven in court. You know what I mean? That's what won court. They sent that to Lancaster Laboratories, and it was proven as electric cell food. That's why if you look at the Fig Tree, we call it electric cell food. That's what's been proven in court.
The man known as Dr. Sebi claims to have found the cure for several life-threatening diseases, including AIDS. Too good to be true? Well, you be the judge. The lump in Myrtle Rick's left breast is gone.
I haven't had any symptoms or problems, anything.
Sabrina Peterson's son no longer disabled by sickle cell anemia.
He has a lot of energy. I have to make him rest.
Disease is cured by this man. His name is Dr. Sebi, but you won't find a medical degree hanging from his wall. Instead, a certificate of healing.
How did Dr. Sebi say he was healing people of these incurable diseases? The basis behind his approach is cleaning the body of excess mucus, which is believed to be the root of all disease. Sebi stated, "Our research reveals that all manifestation of disease finds its genesis when mucous membrane has been compromised. For example, if there is excess mucus in the bronchial tubes, the disease is bronchitis. In the joints, arthritis." Basically, he believed disease will arise in the body when there is an overaccumulation of this stagnant toxin. He said acid creates toxic mucus and congests the system, leading to inflammation. Sebi preached an alkaline diet will do the opposite and support vitality.
My approach is an intracellular cleansing. You have people eating hog, potatoes, rice, and beans. But if we take this substance to a biochemist, he's not going to find any food in any of these substances.
If something is of usefulness in my structure, in my biological structure, it must necessarily be electrical. And the only substance that is electrical are those substances that come from the forest we call the jungle. Because the molecular structure is complete, it's not broken.
How I found out that black people should be vegetarians, because when I begin to remove you from that meat and that stuff, that grease, you begin to say in 1 week how the pain that you had for years begin to disappear.
His family claims for 30 years he reversed a range of incurable ailments using his compounds and his nutritional approach. He also claimed to cure blindness. He shared this story during one of his speeches.
Young man, I said, yes, sir. I heard that you've been experimenting with herbs. He said, yes. Well, I'm blind. I'm blind for 10, 11 years. Could you help me? I said, I'll try. If you make me see, I give you $1 million. I gave the man the substance. When am I going to see? I said, about Friday. Now, why did I select Friday until this day? I don't know. But I was so sure of myself. But how could a boy that didn't go to school be so sure of himself? The man went home with the medicine. And the Wednesday, good morning, young man. I raised my right hand. He said, you raise your right hand. I winked my left eye. He said, you wink your left eye. I said, the man is seeing. At that point of my journey, I couldn't explain that. I know it's a bunch of herbs that cleanse the man's body, but they were all alkali plants.
He also said he was able to heal people of mental illness, something he himself struggled with.
I became very sick. I was angry. I want to blow my brains out. I want to kill my wife. And she was the sweetest woman in the world. Why I want to kill her? Because I was sick. You could be offering and deploying things that are hurtful to others and you're totally unaware. I was in what you call a psychiatric ward, schizophrenic and paranoia. Later to walk out of it, to heal that. Every disease begins right here. I mean right here. I don't care if you're blind or if you're insane. It's right here. That acid state influences the brain and the central nervous system. It changes the image in your eyes. You do not see with your eyes. Your eyes is only the lens that the brain looks through. What the brain sees is what you're gonna see. I had a lady from Mexico, and that lady would say, no, don't let them take me, no. And there was nobody there. I made an extract from the Cascara Sagrada. She said that when she went to the bathroom upon taking the Cascara Sagrada extract, she looked in the commode and she saw some berries that she ate 12 years prior. They were lodged and they became molded and sent off that negative message. Again, the mucous membrane in the intestine were compromised. She's no longer crazy.
His wife Ma'a gave him the name Sebi, and locals began calling him doctor after they saw him heal fatal illnesses.
There was a little boy that was dying. It was his spleen, but nobody knew it was his spleen, and he laid there, and he was like 5 years old. This is Dominica again. Mm-hmm. And so he was laying there, and he could hardly walk. And the doctors had said he was going to die. And so we gave him the herbs, and he was up and around. When people are healed, everybody is Dr. Sebi, Dr. Sebi.
Because of the act that he's performing, you're helping someone to achieve wellness. And so in that act, one identifies it with a doctor. So they begin to call him that.
Dr. Sebi not only wanted to heal people of their ailments, he also wanted everyone to truly love themselves.
He brought more than just, okay, take these herbs and you're healed. You felt what you feel when you listen to Sebi. You feel good about yourself and you feel strong. And it was the healing of the nation. It is the healing of the nation because that's the other part of the healing, for us to have that self-worth, that self-confidence.
The love that's going to secure you through life is the love that you offer yourself. These are the things that we need to cultivate, not the dependency of another. Why should you be dependent on me for love? On yourself. That love that you have for you, that love would never die.
Dr. Sebi created Usha Healing Village, where hundreds of people have traveled to receive healing of their ailments. This village is located in Honduras, Central America, and is named after one of his oldest daughters.
The Usha Village was opened right after the court case. You know, my father had his court case in 1988, and then right after that, we went out there, my mother, my father, the whole family, and he founded the Usha Village. And we didn't take out loans for that. That was funded directly out of his pocket, out of the Fig Tree's pocket. No, we're not involved in the Usha Village at all. That's something that's definitely important to clarify to people, because that's being ran by my father's ex-business partners, which reside out in Los Angeles, which operate, a different entity.
Dr. Sebi's work was well respected in entertainment circles, with clients including the late Lisa Left Eye Lopez, John Travolta, Eddie Murphy, Michael Jackson, and Nipsey Hussle.
I take his products for sure. I'm working on doing a documentary on the trial in 1985.
How did Lisa Left Eye Lopez discover Dr. Sebi?
You know, I just could not believe that there was not a cure for, I don't care what disease, especially AIDS. I could not believe it. And about a week later, I was in the studio talking to a producer friend of mine named Michael Anthony, and he just decided to tell me about a man that he knew who had the cure, and that man was Dr. Sebi.
Lisa traveled to the Usha village in Honduras and later shared her story with MTV.
In the tiny village, Lisa sought guidance for body and soul from an herbal guru named Dr. Sebi.
Dr. Sebi, according to him, can cure anything. Everything from trying to lose weight to, looking for a cure for AIDS. People go there with hopes and dreams that Dr. Sebi can somehow save them.
She had been through so many intense problems in her career and in her life and in her personal life that she didn't know where to turn. And this doctor, she said, had shown her how to really open up and cleanse all of the negativity out of her.
She told me she was suffering with alcoholism and that she was smoking excessively, cigarettes, drinking and smoking. She asked me, what do I need to do to stay on the side of peace? I said, fast, do what Jesus did. She said, what did Jesus do? He fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. At the ending of the fasting, she came to me. I heard the door opening at 2 o'clock in the morning. She said, I completed my fast this morning. I said, what did you see? I saw God. She said, I'm going to make you famous. I said, how? Because I'm going to talk about you. Does everyone know you cure AIDS and cancer?
There's just a lot of people in the world who are suffering. They're sick. They're not happy. They're looking for answers. They don't know where to turn. Well, I know a man who's been curing AIDS since 1987. This guy has taught me a lot, and I need to share my knowledge, with the world.
Sebi also claimed to have healed Michael Jackson.
What I did for him was this. I gave Michael an intracellular chelation. He was full of a whole lot of drugs, the pharmaceutical drugs. Yeah. Couldn't sleep. Yeah. His nerve was shattered. So I began treating him. Yeah. And at the ending of the period, he was doing good and I left. I was with him from February until September. At the ending of September, I told him, I'm leaving. He said, don't leave me. I said, why? He said, I want you by my side, but I have a business to build.
He also said he helped Steven Seagal.
You know what this is like? When Steven Seagal tells me to come to his house because he had a headache for 5 years. Well, I knew why the headache was in his head. It was removed in less than 10 minutes. He had the bottle and said, this bottle is powerful.
Many people have criticized Sebi, calling him a fraud, quack, and scam artist.
I don't think I'm the only person that wouldn't take advice from someone who was in a mental hospital from schizophrenia and paranoia. If we actually hear what he has to say, things become a bit wacky.
Glucose is the underlying enemy. Whenever you indulge in glucose, it would be difficult to lose fat.
Is that why nearly every cell in the body uses glucose for energy? The man is 120 pounds at 6'2", has clearly been depriving himself of both calories and nutrition, and he's literally knocking on death's door right here.
He was not a doctor. He was simply a fraudulent individual with no education who took advantage of scientifically illiterate and impressionable people. The first ridiculous claim that I will address is that germs don't exist.
This is the Supreme Court of the United States. The judge said, what did you say? I said, there is no such thing as a germ, a virus, or a bacteria. Then what is it? I said, man, it is a microbe that is generated in the body when erosion begins. If I take
a very healthy human being and lay them on the stable and not move them for a month, when I raise them, what are they going to have on their back? A bed sore. And inside that bed sore would be some little worms, isn't it? Sure. But where did the worms come from and where were they birthed? In the man himself. But why the bed sore? You didn't move that person. That part of him was lacking of oxygen. Now we go internal. When those cells cease to receive oxygen, they break down. If the erosion is in the nostril, it is what? Sinusitis. If it's in the bronchial tubes, it's bronchitis.
The claim that bacteria and viruses don't exist, such an egregious example of scientific ignorance. It's even more egregious than saying the world is flat.
Sebi has ignored all criticism. He stated everyone has been taught to accept Western medicine and reject anything outside of that realm. Despite the criticism, his career continued to thrive, but he struggled to maintain his romantic relationships.
You know, my father was a Rolling Stone. Everybody kind of knows that.
He had 4 marriages, legal and bigamous. He married a woman named Melba Jean in the late 1950s, then Ma'a in the 1970s, and began his healing journey. He married Annette Thomas in the 1980s and Patsy Williams around the late 90s, early 2000s.
The official Dr. Sebi wife is Melba Jean Bowman. She's been married legally to Dr. Sebi for 56 years. That's the legal wife. That's the standing wife of Dr. Sebi.
Sebi claimed all of these marriages.
I've been married 4 times. I love women. Every woman I've been with, I love now.
Annette met Dr. Sebi in St. Croix. He opened his first store on the island with Ma'a. Annette attended one of his speaking engagements.
Just a burst of fresh air, you know? I said, wow, because he wasn't working by himself then. His partner, Olu, was there, Karen, his wife, Ma'a. They were all working together when I met him.
It was a team.
It was a team. I'm being a part of this. All of them had moved from California to St. Croix, and they was not interested in coming back to the United States. They wanted the Caribbean to be their permanent home.
Right.
Yeah, I talked him into coming back.
Dr. Sebi soon opened a fig tree store in New York. Annette became his 3rd wife. Many years later, Patsy traveled to the Usha village and began assisting Sebi and Ma'a. Ma'a explains why she and Dr. Sebi separated.
There was many women I couldn't take anymore. As I said to Sebi, you cured all these women, you helped all these women, and they love you. Mm-hmm. And that's unfair to them because you're taking advantage of them because they will do anything for you. They love you.
Ma'a continued the healing work through the fig tree with her daughters and son. Dr. Sebi moved to LA and opened an office there. He married Patsy and she continued to work for him. He then had to start a new company after Patsy allegedly stole from him. His many romantic relationships allegedly produced more than 20 children.
My dad had quite a few children. You know what I mean? It's many of us in different factions.
Tell them what is good for your pressure. Tell them what people need when they're weak.
Iron.
That's my daughter. Now look, I'm 79. The nigga's 79 with a baby now.
Yeah.
I was hitting you up. Man, I didn't know my own son. Yeah, this is a gentleman to help me. Yeah. Hey, I didn't know my own son. Wow. This young man knows his daddy. Understand? He grew up with me.
Critics try to use his personal life as a way to tarnish his name, but Ma'a rejects these views.
Sebi is a great healer, and all his personal life has nothing to do with it.
He has openly spoken about his shortcomings.
I was in a state of disarray, and I didn't know it. At the time, I was involved with 3 different wives, Matum, Annette, and Ma'a. Mm-hmm. My life was not as stable because I had other women pregnant. You know, a young girl, 19 years old, was pregnant. I was like emotionally out of it. So Lisa said to me that I needed help. And she was right.
There's an African proverb that says, when an old man dies, a library burns to the ground. There's much controversy surrounding the death of Dr. Sebi. He was arrested along with his associate Pablo Medina for being in the possession of $37,000 in cash in an airport on a Caribbean island off the coast of Honduras. Authorities stated he was suspected of laundering money. His friends, family, and patients vehemently denied the charges.
It's a very sad video to see. It's a very sad thing to see because you can see that he was broken. You can see that he was hurt. To give of yourself your whole heart. I don't care about this money thing. Forget this money thing and the product and selling it in the internet and world. He gave of himself. Him.
His family attempted to get him released from custody to no avail. He was held for over a month with no court date and bail was never set. After a month of being held in prison, he reportedly became sick with pneumonia and his condition quickly deteriorated. He passed away shortly after. Before Dr. Sebi entered prison, he was in optimal health.
See Mars have me doing things every morning like this. That's see Mars, okay? See Mars have me falling on my knees every morning to check him.
Reps from Dr. Sebi's institute stated limited information was given on the type of treatment he received. His autopsy was never released. Many people believe Dr. Sebi was murdered, while others strongly disagree.
And my grandfather wasn't killed on no governmental foul play either. Let's clear that up. They didn't wait all these years to where Dr. Sebi turned 83 years old and said, hey, let's come after him now. Let's clear that up. My grandfather died in a prison of starvation. No governmental foul play. He didn't want to eat the food. He wasn't going to drink the water. So he went out his way.
There was a reporter that was there the day before his transition, which was on Saturday, August 6th of 2016. And on that Friday, there was a reporter down there. And, they reported that he was, I had spoke to him. And they reported that he was totally fine in good health that Friday, So transitioning from Friday into Saturday, no, it shouldn't have been anything that was different.
I spoke to him about 3 days before he had passed.
Okay.
And I wouldn't be able to say from that conversation that he passed from pneumonia, not based on the information that I've obtained, where he said he had been on a 2-week fast at the time. And so he was feeling low and he needed something, and you can tell, But I wouldn't be able to attest that he died of pneumonia. Besides, we had a confession. And so, no, I don't believe that.
You had a confession?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
A confession as to, how he actually died? Or
as to how someone participated in his death. But we don't want to speak names, times, things of that nature, because it's an ongoing investigation right now. And I'm very happy that person came to us to let us know what their part was in it and why, and we appreciate that. But it's an ongoing investigation as to what happened. And no, it wasn't pneumonia.
Wow.
It may have been the symptom of from what was done, no doubt, but there was intrusive factors.
What were his last words to you on that phone call when he was locked up?
I know someone's trying to kill me, so I refuse to eat the food in here. I'm not touching this food. That's why I'm fasting.
Shit.
A lot of this, I'm sorry, Mommy.
Some say he was assassinated because he could eventually disrupt the billion-dollar pharmacy industry.
Why do they kill all holistic doctors?
Messing up the medical industry.
You short-stopping their grind. Why do you get killed for hustling in front of a spot? You short-stopping the grind. And they check is billions. You got that get flipped for a couple $100,000.
They felt that he was a threat to their agenda. And what I was told is that the incoming president, her name was Eugenia Charles. The United States had decided that they was going to sell the island of Dominica, which has 365 rivers of fresh, some of the fresh, most living water on the earth. It was selling them on buying fluoride to fluorinate the water.
Wow.
And Sebi was there, and you know, everybody knows Sebi's going to be a whistleblower. He's going to expose the poison.
After Dr. Sebi's death, the charges were dropped and Pablo Medina was released from prison.
A young man, he had purchased something from someone and he put it on his head, that poultice, and it caused his whole face to blow up and his head to get very big. And it was just like, oh, this is allegedly.
Many of you have asked why we have not tried to help Mr. Jermell Brown with his current health. I want to let everyone know that we have reached out to Jermell on several occasions. As soon as we learned that he had posted some videos on social media, we contacted him to offer help. However, Mr. Jermell Brown retained legal counsel and directed us to his attorneys.
It's amazing that they've taken something so pure and so beautiful that saved my mother's life, and they take it and turned it into something that actually harms someone.
My grandfather's product is compromised. And when I say compromised, those are not Dr. Sebi formulas anymore. Look how many people getting side effects from those products. You don't want anything pertaining to Dr. Sebi cell food. Don't follow the fake Instagram. Don't follow that website. Those are not Dr. Sebi's formulas.
People out of you're not a healer, bro. You're not a healer. Bro, them Dr. Sebi cell food products is garbage, bro. You're not a healer, Pablo. You never have and never will, Pablo.
These other people that have been attaching themselves to my father's name because of money, so forth and so on, they don't know how to do the healing. They haven't done it. You know what I mean? It was my mother and it was my father. Now all these other entities attach themselves and they've trademarked my father's name, Dr. Sebi, but they don't know how to do the work. They haven't accomplished that, and it's unfortunate.
Has the LA office been infiltrated?
Actually, no, it has not been infiltrated at all.
I see the name Jenny come about at the LA office. Who is Jenny?
Actually, Jenny is the president of the office. She's the person who managed the office as well. And that's the person that my dad hired. She was the one of the new people that my dad hired in 2014.
Baba Sebi's business, both the village in Honduras and that LA office, is left solely under Selma Bowman. So this is Dr. Sebi's legacy that you're looking at. This is Dr. Sebi's legacy right here, along with his 16-year-old son Victor and his 5-year-old daughter Tawa.
The only authentic and original products are Dr. Sebi's cell food.
What do you say to the people that say his daughter says the product is fine?
I don't know anything of her saying that these products is okay. She's not here in LA. She don't know anything about the formulas that's being, put out on the street.
What we're using is my father's formulas from when he first started. And not only that, but we have also improved some of the formulas. We're his legitimate legacy. We're the Bowmans.
The original products can still be gotten from myself and my daughter. Also, his previous wife, Ma'a, she also have original compounds. In fact, her children and my child, they all are connected. They all speak with each other. I don't know what is the reason why this grandson is saying these things, because I remember at one time I hired him to work with us as well. and there were reasons why he was not working with us.
Annette Thomas currently sells products through Greenleaf Herbal Solutions. Many consumers say they trust the fig tree because Dr. Sebi created the original formulas with this company, and these were the products used to heal the 77 witnesses that appeared during his court case.
I like to always see myself as practicing our ancient practices of our ancestors and going to collect that herb and putting it in the pot, boiling it, and making it with love. We're very careful with how we produce our products. We're very careful with when we order the products, what time of year, because we want to make sure that it's not hybridized or genetically modified. When we prepare it, what energy state we're in, what mind state are we in, what state is our body in, because all of that goes into your creation. It's art. We had 78 cases of AIDS last year and 52 cases of herpes last year. So whether or not he could cure, we are still using his very exact formula till today. Did people all of a sudden stop getting cured? No, people didn't. I want to call out everybody. There's someone over here on this end, on that end. We have the authentic product. If you're not purchasing products from us, then it's not authentic. It's not the original. I am not saying that. That is what people are saying.
We're going to continue to actually cure people. And that's what we've been doing. That's what we'll continue to do.
Before Dr. Sebi died, he said he had been betrayed by a former wife, Matun, who is now doing press runs to speak about how she helped start the Usha village and created the treatments.
My husband won a case in the Supreme Court of New York since 1986, proving to cure AIDS, cancer, diabetes, sickle cell, herpes, lupus, etc. Since that time, I'm the one in the kitchen. We have developed something called an intracellular chelation.
Ma'a says Patsy isn't being truthful.
You worked with us. So you didn't know anything. You came and Sebi brought you into the house?
She was the mistress.
So what we went through with the court, what we went through, it was a whole lot what we went through.
You were there from the
beginning. And what we created. When that man called, the scientist called and said, he needs to get the Nobel Peace Prize or life in prison. Were you there?
There are court-documented papers that state New York versus Bowman and Dr. Sebi.
She's been doing this with my father since she was 20-something years old. She lives and dies there. My sister, again, Wiwa, she's been working in the company since she was 10 years old. She didn't go to middle school. She didn't go to high school. She gave that up. They were on the train in New York, sleeping at people's houses. My mother was breastfeeding me, pushing the cart, pouring the herbs, answering the phone. So when you have people that get on, different radio shows and say, I was there, they weren't there.
Matun is part of Daddy's third chapter, and I'm sure they shared beautiful moments together and a lot of information together. I have some reservations. There were informations that were withheld from me about certain parts of this journey, and I have questions. Tell your story as it is. Tell your story in truth.
Patsy, aka Matun, says Dr. Sebi's company was stolen from her by Pablo Medina and Dr. Sebi's manager, Jenny.
Our clients are complaining, past and present, because the herbs that they're getting from the office that my husband and I have created and the products that we've created is no longer our products there. Pablo, I remember when you came and I hired you. And I remember the day we fired you. The imposters, they have fraudulently signed my husband's name and sent it to the trademark office. And they said now they own my business. All that scenario you created and said that I stole money, you can check my accounts, you can check where I live. I don't have no money.
Patsy Williams, back in 2014, her and her daughter, Zave, stole from my father along with some others. And what happened, my father called me and he has never called and just hung up in an instant. So I rushed over to the office, met Isaiah over there. As soon as we walked in, my father was standing in the middle of the floor just looking. And so I knew what had happened. I looked around, I said, oh, they got you. He said, yeah. They took everything, so I walked upstairs. They didn't leave a paper clip in that place. I have court documents stating that Patsy Williams was being sued upon my father's passing.
Although my son, but I have much respect for him. Much respect, much love. And for his mother too. And his sisters. Because they didn't do to me what has been happening to me in the last years.
I saw videos of where Dr. Sebi was literally going off before he died about his wife and children betraying him.
That was her.
So I align myself with women that are bad. I had some rotten ones around me now. My wife, my ex-wife, my manager, my daughters, they all conspired against me. And that's okay. There'll be some rotten ones in the barrel, but take them up and throw them away.
Sebi faced many trials towards the end of his life, but the controversy didn't overshadow the voices of those proclaiming he healed them.
I was diagnosed first with colon cancer, then it had metastasized and become leukemia. And 3 months after that, I had been diagnosed with an astrocytoma brain tumor that was inoperable. At that point, the doctors in the U.S. gave me 6 months to live. 120 days after getting here, I no longer had leukemia. The headache stopped within 30 to 60 days. I lost a total of 102 pounds.
I was having like brain fog and fatigue, a lot of fatigue. Like my memory wasn't really good. And acne, like breaking out on my face and different like eczema and stuff like that. And then I took the cell cleansers, and 2 days later I woke up and my mind was so clear. And I could even tell a difference in my skin, the way my skin looked. It was amazing.
My sister was diagnosed with lupus. My sister wasn't going to make it to the end of the year. And we was in September. It was in September. Sent her a package of one of his antibody chelation remedies. And 3 months later, my sister's driving her kids to school.
From one package?
He sent her a package once a month.
I was really going through it. No oxygen, chronic severe respiratory diseases. I was living on 13 breathing treatments a day. I started cleansings. I had mucus coming out from everywhere. That first week, I was spitting up mucus like a lot. Immediately, I got off medication. Like as soon as I started, I got off medication. I removed the diseases successfully, completely. I haven't taken not even Advil. I haven't taken no type of medication whatsoever.
Sebi was viewed as a healer to some and a fraud to others. His family says his sole purpose was to bring self-love and wellness to the world.
He was about light and love. This journey is about light and love and above all, and healing, a healing for the nation.
Sebi was a self-proclaimed pathologist, herbalist, and naturalist. His supporters say his mission was to heal through holistic health, body, mind, and spirit.
The one thing you want to do is to love. And that love should begin with you. Once you love you, you love the whole world. It's easy. It's delicious to love everybody and everything.